One mini world, one creation dream.
We're gonna have a specific week where you're gonna be able to actually participate and compete with other players with your maps, okay? So very important for this class, we're gonna learn how to create level up, how to create enemies, and how to create super mobs, okay? I'm gonna go deeper later on this. Remember also, this is gonna be very important, guys, the last date, the last time to be able to just like submit your map is gonna be on the 17th, okay, of this month. That means that you have to complete your map before that date to be able to participate, okay? Give me a second, my mouse is going crazy. Alright, and we're gonna start about how to create the levels and how to create experience for our mobs, okay? So this is the first thing we're gonna learn. Alright, so for this I'm gonna switch back to Miniware and I'm gonna show you how you set up the levels, okay? So by default, Miniware is gonna add a level every time you kill a mob, okay? But you can set up very easily because we have an option to add this specific feature. How do you do that? You wanna click right here, open your map, and on here you have this specific icon. It looks like a map with a pencil. That specific tool name is Developer Tools, okay? So you can see the name right here, and you will have 3 different tabs, okay? So how it works, guys? We have one for create scripts, one for create triggers, and one for the setup, okay? So remember, the last class we learned how to do all the setup, so just check the channel for the resume. But I'm gonna move exclusively here. That is the part that we're gonna cover on this class, okay? Where you can see here, player attributes, we're gonna start with this one, okay? So we're gonna move to initial attributes, okay? On there are few important things we're gonna have to do. And the things that we're gonna have to do is gonna be the next. What we're gonna learn first is that on here we have all the different stats for the player. We can change the speed, we can change the attack, we can change everything here. But we're gonna focus on 2 different things. First, we're gonna reduce this because as this is an RPG game, remember that the players must start with less life. We're gonna place this on 50, okay? Why? Because we're gonna learn how to create a stat system that will increase this depending on the level of the player. So it's gonna be okay. 50 is a good value here. And this is gonna be one of the most important things, guys. We need to change here. If you have hunger point, we need to switch, okay? And be sure it says stamina. Not here, depending on your language, is gonna be different. But remember, you have to choose the equivalent one here, okay? So this is gonna be very and really important, guys. You need to choose what is related according to your language, okay? Alright? Okay, so once more, we're gonna change this to stamina. If you have it like this, it's okay. If you have it like this, it's not gonna work, okay? So remember, you're gonna change it like this, okay? Now you're gonna reduce the amount also to 50, so players are gonna start with low stamina. What is gonna do this? We're gonna do this, alright? Because we're gonna use stamina to be able to cast skills, okay? We're gonna do it as an energy. We're gonna use the stamina as an energy, okay? Now, this doesn't matter too much. My recommendation is to reduce the speed to 8, okay? Because the player will be able to increase also the speed of the character depending on the agility. So 8 is gonna be a good value, okay? Now, for initial items, it is gonna be very important that you create an item, okay? this item is gonna be called money. All right. So you're gonna go to items, in plugins, you're gonna add a new one, and you're gonna create a MISC item. Remember, you're gonna place here, and you're gonna select MISC, and you're gonna put this like a money, okay? Or you can place like coins, wherever you wanna place the name of, it's okay. You're gonna select an icon for it. Remember, if you want to change the icon on the class number 1 or number 2, at the end we learn how to change the icon for whatever you want, okay? So you can do this. For now, I'm gonna select this one, it's okay for me. We're gonna add it, and we're gonna save, okay? Remember, if you already have been in the previous classes, we already created this item, okay? Alright, so once you create this, what you're gonna do is that you're gonna move back again to developer tools, and in this screen that is player attribute, you're gonna switch to the one that says initial items, right? And initial items, you're gonna place the items that the player is gonna have by default. You see here it says it items in the back. Well, you're gonna click on this one, in the first one, and on there you're gonna select the item that you just created, that the name is, once more, money, okay? And you're gonna place it on the first one. You're gonna give just one. Why we do this is because as this kind of map are gonna drop a lot of items, the money is not gonna be on here. By default, it's gonna be on the player back, so it's not gonna like cover the important slots that the player need for using skills or for use like weapons. So we're gonna be sure that always is gonna be in the back, okay? Now you're gonna scroll down and you're gonna activate this, okay? This is gonna be very important, guys. This is where you activate the experience mode, okay? So you're gonna activate it, and you're gonna have this, okay? So from now on, this is very important, guys. From now on, after you switch this, players won't be able to win stars, okay? So if your map has stars, the pickup stars is not gonna work, okay? We're gonna switch this, and now player gonna be able to win experience and win levels, okay? So what you're gonna do is you can set up this at max level. You can set up how many levels you want. I recommend to keep it on the max so the players will be able to play a lot. And in here, it gives you this screen, okay? That may be very confusing. This is simple. How many experience the player needs to go to the next level? What I recommend to you is just click on quick settings, and on here you have this screen, and it's gonna tell you what is gonna be the minimum level and the max level, okay? So keep it 1 to 50, and this is gonna be the very important thing. How many experience you need to go to the next level, okay? On here you can place the max amount of experience that the player can have. By default it's gonna be in 1. What I recommend to you is keep it at max on 5,000, because if you do it more than that, it's gonna be really hard to level up, okay? For example, the maximum you can place is 9,999, but it's gonna be too much, okay? So a number in between for 4,000 or 5,000 is gonna work. And here we have the growth curve, okay? This is how fast players can level up. Standard is that they always need the same amount of experience to be able to level up. It's simple, right? But guys, the second one is early stage. What does it mean? What does it mean early stage? It's simple, guys. It means that the player at the beginning is gonna be able to level up faster, but every time he level up, it's gonna be harder to get more experience. That is the way most of the games do, because at the beginning the players will learn and it's gonna be really easy to level up, so it's kind of addictive. And when the players already learn how to play, it's gonna get harder, okay? So it's gonna be funner to level up. And the final one is later stage. I didn't recommend this because, guys, this is gonna be backwards. That means that the players at the beginning are gonna be really hard to level up, and at the end it's gonna be really easy. They just can level up like every time they kill someone. Not recommended. My best recommendation is keep it on early stage. And as you see, it's gonna set up something like this. Every time you increase the level, it's gonna be harder to level up. Alright, so you have it. Now your map have different levels, okay? Alright, so now that you have like different levels here, I'm gonna teach you how you can make the players one experience, okay? So for this, I'm gonna create a mob and we're gonna do it as an example, okay? So we're gonna go to create here and I'm gonna use any of the previous mob I already like have created. Let's do a KK4 session. This is the one I created before. And you're gonna go to attribute and on there you have something new, right? This only you can have this if you activate the option I mentioned before. And this is how many experience this mob is gonna give you every time you kill him, okay? If you want to set up manually, you can do it. Very important, guys. I'm gonna show you later a system that can automatically calculate the experience according to the mob level, damage, and all the features that the mob have. So if you want to use that system, remember, just keep all the mobs in 0. But if you want to do it manually, as an example, you have a boss and you want the boss to give you a specific amount of experience, well, you can do it. Just switch this to the amount you want, okay? As an example, I'm gonna put this one, it's gonna give me 600 of experience, okay? And to be able to show you better how it works, I'm gonna put like really low life, when hit kill, okay? And I'm not gonna make him attack because it's gonna be easier for me to show you how it works, okay? I'm gonna save and I'm gonna enter the map, okay? Alright, guys, and now we're gonna open up here, we're gonna place this specific mob in our inventory, and we're gonna place like 3 of them here, okay? Alright, you're following me up, right? I guess so. Not sure, but I think my tab wasn't like updating. Alright, so what we're gonna do here, guys, check this. I'm gonna go to play mode, alright? And if I kill one, you see that I won a lot of experience because of course I put it 600, and you see a level up to level 16, okay? If I kill another one, I level up to level 19. So check, at the beginning I level up like 16 levels really quick, but the second one only give me 3 levels. And of course, as every time it's gonna be like less levels, like so you need more experience to level up. If I kill this one, only gives me 2 levels, and probably if I kill the third one, only 2. As you see, every time I kill one, it's gonna give me less amount of levels because, well, I need more experience, okay? So right now, you already know how to add experience through a mob, okay? Alright? So now we're gonna learn a couple of things here. We're gonna learn how to give experience in a different way, okay? So on here, we have like triggers, guys. Remember, this is the way you program in Miware, for those that are new. And what you're gonna do is, I don't know, let's do this. I'm gonna place an area here, and every time the player accesses this area, he's gonna want experience, okay? So how do you do that? You're gonna place on developer tools, like here, in developer mode, sorry, in tool mode, and you're gonna place the first one. Alright, you're gonna place an area, and you're gonna rename it, okay? Alright, so now you do it, you're gonna move right here, once more to developer tools, and you're gonna move to triggers, okay? You're gonna create a new trigger. Remember, you can set up like you want this, but I'm gonna show you an example by entering an area, but you can do the way you want it, okay? For now, I'm gonna place like every time a player enters an area, and I need to choose the area, of course, the area is gonna be XP area. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna add the player some experience. How we do that? How do you do that? You're gonna go here, you're gonna add a new attribute, and on there you have a lot of options, and probably you're gonna have this that says stars. That is the most of the times we're gonna use for when you have an older system, not this level up system. Well, you're gonna select this current XP, alright? And there, you can go here, and you're gonna place math, okay? Remember, math in functions always help us to do mathematical operations, and this will allow us to add more experience, but we need to select first where we're gonna add the experience. So we need to select the same attribute we got here. So we're gonna do function, player attribute, okay? And we're gonna select again current XP, okay? And we're gonna add 1000 of experience, okay? Oh, sorry. So you see in the screen this, you place here what we're gonna take as base. We're gonna say, hey, to this attribute, we're gonna add 1000, okay? Remember, this needs to be the same. You're gonna close, and you're gonna put play mode, okay? So now every time I go this corner, as you see, I also can want experience, okay? So I'm gonna exit, and I'm gonna access again, and as you see, I have more experience right here, okay? And remember something, guys. This is just the action. Remember, you can add experience by doing missions, you can do experience with different things, okay? Alright, so now this is gonna be very important, guys, as your mobs are gonna have like a specific amount of experience. What you need to do to create for an RPG is to create like different amount of mobs, okay? So you create one mob that is weaker for the beginning, you're gonna create a tougher one for the next levels, and like that, so you will have like mobs that are gonna give you more experience and the player keep on. Because if you do the same mobs all the time, the player is gonna be stuck. That means that you need to create all different levels of mobs, okay? Also, this is gonna be very important, guys. If you create an item, like the ones I create that are gonna be the potions, and let me access for the example map for this, you also need to set up those different levels, okay? Why is this? Because as an example, at the beginning, probably you're gonna have 50 HP, right? Let me show you here. But as your life, as your energy, as your speed, your defenses are gonna grow up depending on the level you are. That means at level 10, probably you're gonna have more life. So I highly recommend it to create different like amount of items, okay? So this is how it works. Let me show you here. No, sorry, it's not here. Forgot to place in the the right one. I'm gonna take some water, guys. Okay. Not sure. Seems that me. Yeah. Okay. So. All right. Let me show you the example with potions. All right. So, if you see my map, you have like different levels of potions here, right? For example, I have one potion that will heal 50 of life. You can see it here. Remember, we learned how to create this on the last class, right? It's 50 of life, because this is the potion the players are gonna have at the beginning, right? So when you start, you have low life, so 50 is gonna be almost all your life, okay? But as an example, in level 10, you're gonna have 100 of life, okay? So I have a second potion that is gonna add you 100 of life. Very important, at the beginning, as the monsters are gonna be also weaker, those are gonna give you probably the chances to give you that one, to give you a potion that is gonna have 50. But if you are in level 10, the monsters are gonna be a little bit stronger, but also they can drop this. They can drop this specific, and once more, this is gonna heal 100. And so on. I have in my map as an example 4 different kind of potions. The first one is gonna keep you or heal 50. The second one is gonna heal 100. The third one is gonna heal 150, and the last one is gonna heal 200. Okay, so you see we have like different levels for each one of the potions. Also for the energy, I also have one that we heal 50, 100, 150, and 200. Okay, this only not works for the potions, also for the armors. Remember to put the armor that as an example. Oh, I'm gonna switch this on because this is gonna have like too much noise. This is a little bit calmer, guys. Okay, all right. So yes, as I was mentioned, create different levels of armors. So the armor level 1 is gonna give you 1 of defense. The armor in level 10 is gonna give you probably 10 of defense. And finally, at max level, you have a super armor that is gonna give you, I don't know, 100 of defense, okay? So every item you're gonna create for this is gonna be level up, okay? We gonna start to learn how to work with enemies, okay? Alright guys, so remember last class we learned how to create the NPCs. Now we're gonna start with enemies, okay? So I'm gonna switch to Miniwork once more, and we gonna something that I want to do is that I'm gonna show you how to implement this in the game, okay? All right, so we're gonna learn how to create an enemy here. So this is very important, guys. Something that I always have to teach you is that depending of the level you are, you're gonna have like different enemies, and this is gonna be very important, guys. The level needs to be relative to the level your player is. So, what is the most of common problems? That you place 2 strong enemies at the beginning, and the players automatically leave because, well, they gonna feel like completely overwhelming because the enemies are too strong and they cannot kill them. Or another common issue is that you have a lot of enemies spawn at the same time next to the player spawn. So every time the player is reborn, he is gonna be killed. So the most important thing is always place a safe area. Okay? Don't place enemies where the players are gonna reborn, because otherwise the players are gonna be killed immediately and it's gonna be like completely awful, okay? So check the map, okay? When I start creating the map, I create a safe area that is where the players spawn, and as you see, there is no enemies here, alright? No enemies at all. And this is a clean area, the players can just relax here, okay? And when the player exits the lobby, you still have a specific path that is gonna be the first thing that you're gonna create. It's a way where the enemies are gonna be introductory, they are not gonna be very strong, and all the way up to this position, you have weak enemies, okay? These enemies are gonna be very easy to kill because the player needs to learn the basics, okay? So when you start the map, the first enemy you create needs to be really easy to beat, okay? The one I create is this one. The name is Scout and check. First, the heal is gonna be 15. That means that you can kill him even without a weapon with only 3 hits, okay? It's gonna be really easy to kill. In the attack, he's gonna have this one. That means that even if you are being attacked by 5 of them, you are not gonna be able to be defeated. Alright? So this is very important, guys. Check. My health for my first enemy, the enemy that the player is gonna learn how to play with, is gonna be really easy to kill, okay? Once more, you have 1 of attack, so that means that if you have 50 of life, he needs to attack you 50 times to be able to defeat you. Once more, this is the first enemy you defeat, okay? Of course, you can still use this enemy, like for other situations, like as an example, I use it a lot for field, like the amount of enemies, but this not like really do anything because it's just an enemy that doesn't hurt you almost at all, okay? The speed is 300 because the enemy, and I recommend it to do it slower. What happens is I'm doing an action RPG and I want them to be a little bit faster, okay? But you can do whatever speed you want, okay? Alright, so another important thing is the attack needs to be automatically, okay? So we have two different kinds of RPG. You have the RPG, the action RPG like mine, where you have to defeat a lot of enemies and all are gonna be like trained to kill you automatically. Or you have the other kind of RPG that is the one that you have an area, you access the area and you can decide which mob you wanna fight. And if you don't want to fight with that mob anymore, you just leave, or yeah. But the way you can like cross the next area is to have a certain level. If you are gonna do an RPG, action RPG like mine, you can do it like this way. Do it automatically, so the player always has to fight the mobs. So the amount of mobs are gonna determine if he can cross the next area or not. If you want to do it the other way, it's okay. So remember, you need to activate attack. You can choose here in between melee and remote. Melee is gonna be close combat and remote is gonna be laser, okay? Alright, so we're gonna create a new mob for this one, okay? Remember, once more, the first enemy you're gonna fight is Scout, but you have more enemies, okay? So an example, we have a ranged enemy that is gonna be Adept. As you see, he has 25 of lives, he's very low life, and 5 of attack, which is gonna be better than the other, but it's gonna be not the best attack. And for the battle, we have 15 of range, and the view field is gonna be 15, okay? But when you start like progressing and accessing to new levels and new parts of the story, we have the next enemy, which is gonna be the Acolyte. It's the same mob, but it have better features, okay? So as you see, this is gonna have 14 of health, it's gonna be much stronger, it's gonna have the same attack, but it's gonna attack faster. So if Adept, that was the previous one, that has 5 of attack per second, he's gonna attack twice in a second, so he's gonna have actually 10 of attack, okay? The speed is almost the same, and the battle, you see, is gonna have more range, so it's gonna attack you from larger distances, okay? And then we have another evolution for when you are on a like higher levels, and it's gonna be Deep Acolyte, okay? If you see, this has 60 of life, so you see every time you like continue level by level, the enemy is gonna have more power, so it's gonna be harder to beat and does a lot of damage. If you see, the previous one does 5, this one says that has 25 of damage. That's a lot more damage, okay? And you see, the distance is gonna be higher, okay? And this is only not working for my ranged enemies. Also, my melee enemies are gonna have the same characteristics. We have Templar. Templar has 50 of life because it's a melee fighter. He's gonna have 5 of life and 350 of speed. The next one, that is the evolution of the Templar, is gonna be Minor Templar. That is gonna be this one. If you see, now he has more life, has double of attack, has almost the same speed, and almost the same characteristics, but it's gonna be more attack and more defenses. And we have more powerful versions of this one, because remember, every level you're gonna have more powerful mobs. But this is gonna be very important, guys. create your enemies, the powerful ones need to be the middle ones, because if you place too powerful like or too much range enemies, it's gonna be really hard to play, okay? So always place the more powerful as and the more variations as the middle combat one, and the others, the range one, try to do it a little bit with less damage, because otherwise it's gonna be too hard for the players. As an example, these are the first ones. Then we have Dark Templar, that is another melee unit. As you see, it has more life, has more damage, and has some specific skills. He can teleport, okay? So as you see, also your creatures are going to have like different skills depending of what level you are, okay? As an example, now we have Dark Templar. Also we have Champion. This is another kind of mob that have the same but has the ability to sample very like a lot of times, okay? And also you have a second version of him that is gonna be the Grand Champion, that has more life, more attack, and more distance, okay? So as you see, everything I create like different levels, because as this is gonna be an RPG game and the players are gonna level up, they are gonna be stronger some time and they are gonna get better over and over. So the enemies need to be stronger also. So welcome, just passing by. Welcome to the stream, to the class, okay? So we're gonna start creating our next enemy, okay? I already have all of this. What I'm gonna do now is to create a new enemy, okay? For the next levels. So I always want to create an enemy that can like resurrect the mobs that are been dying, okay? So we're gonna start creating him. I'm going to do it in the same map, so you're gonna see how I implement these mobs, okay? So let's move here. We're gonna create a new mob. Okay. We're gonna place the name for this one. Is gonna be. So the concept I use for my mobs in this map is that they belong to a sect. So I'm gonna play with that, okay? So we have Adept, we have Inquisitor, we have Sectary. So we can place a name related to this. What about if we create, as this is gonna be a magic one? So it is gonna be, we already have Templar. Oh, it's a hard name to get for. What about High Priest? This is gonna be the name for this one. What I highly recommend it is to keep the name on, and also for the players like to see that that is an enemy, I want to put red color in it, because well, it's easier to see that the mob is an enemy and not the only one. And for the allies, I use green. So as an example, if this were like this is gonna be an ally, okay? So I'm gonna just keep it as red. Alright, then we're gonna select our model, and remember on the last class I'm gonna show you how to change the skin for this one. We're gonna select a model. We have a lot of here, but I want to use one that is related to those mobs. So I'm gonna use this one, okay? Alright, so the priest is gonna have a specific skill, and remember you can set up your skills as you want. I recommend to like do variation of your enemies. As an example, one can jump, the other can attack from distance, the other from close, the other sample, the other teleports. This one is gonna resurrect all the enemies, so you have to be very careful with him, because if you have a lot of enemies and don't kill this one, he will be able to resurrect other ones, okay? Very important, guys, remember that you can also edit default mobs. If you edit as an example Rocky, that is the one that has the two big horns, you will be able to do sample enemies, okay? Alright? So in attribute, remember this is very important. If we place animals, the mob is not gonna disappear if we move from the distance, okay? So if you get away, as an example, 32 blocks from him, is gonna disappear if it's a monster. If it's an animal, it's not gonna disappear. So my recommendation is your bosses need to be animals, and your normal monsters, you can keep it as a monster, okay? Now the life for this one, okay? This is gonna be very important, guys. As this is gonna be a support enemy, I want it to be like with a lot of life. So and I want to appear like where the player is on level 10, alright? So we're gonna change this and we're gonna place it, or we're gonna set up as a 150, but I don't want him to have too much attack, because, well, this is one of the mobs that cannot kill the player easily, so I'm gonna just keep 5 of attack, okay? So what you see is gonna like have a good skill, a good life, because, well, if he's alive, the monsters will be able to reborn, but he's not gonna have too much attack, because we don't want him to kill the player by himself. He needs enemies to be able to, okay? And as we don't want this to be the first enemy in a line, he needs to be a little bit slower than the others. So we're gonna put like 250 of speed, so he is always gonna be at the back of the enemies when they are gonna attack the player, okay? Now for movement, very important, as I'm doing a water kind of map that plays under the water, I'm gonna keep can swim, okay? But that's up to you guys. As an example, if you are doing an island map and you want the mobs to die when they access the water, well, please, they cannot swim and avoid the water. But in my case, it's okay. If you place a poison light, it's not gonna be very good, because it's gonna be covering the shadows. Unless you are doing a survival, it's not really useful. And crawl up the ceiling is cool, but it's buggy right now. So when it's like making the mob move in the ceiling like a spider, but didn't recommend it right now, because I don't know if it's this one or attack to the head. One of those is having a problem that is like making the player fly away, so don't recommend that one, okay? Now, remember guys, if you gonna use the system I use for my maps, you don't need to place this, okay? Unless it's a boss, okay? As an example, you want your boss to give 100 of experience, 1000, just click on it. But if, as I'm gonna show you how to create a specific automatic level experience, that means that you don't need to set up, okay? On drop, we're gonna learn how to create advanced drops. That means that we're not gonna use this, so you're gonna keep it off, okay? Unless you want a specific mob gives you a specific items. As an example, I don't know, every time you kill this mob, it's gonna give you a watermelon that you need for your mission. It's okay, but if you don't gonna do that, just keep it off, okay? This doesn't need to be applied unless you are having a mob that is gonna use advanced intelligence here. So just keep it off, okay? Now on battle. We have like different options here. What I recommend to you is always keep the players on the team red and keep the monsters on default, okay? The attack range, if you are a male monster, keep it in 1. But remember, if you change this, you need to change also the distance he's gonna attack with. So, because probably is gonna be different, okay? So, for male, I always recommend 1. If you increase the size of your mob, increase the size of this. But as we're gonna do a range on it, we're gonna keep it on 15. 50 is a good distance. It's not too far away, but it's not too close. So we're gonna make the mob attack from 50 blocks. The field always needs to be like larger than the distance, or the same, because if you do something like this, well, the mob only gonna attack you if you are at 5 of distance, so it doesn't matter if you have 15. Okay, so always keep this at the same value or a little bit more. Okay, if you keep a little bit more, the mob needs to like get closer first and then attack. You can do also that. And on here you need to activate the attack because of course it's a monster. On here you can place explosion, which is an explosion, of course, like the boomer. I recommended to always keep meal and remote. This is gonna damage your scenario a lot, but that depends on you, okay? So I'm gonna use remote because I'm gonna create a remote monster. And on here you can choose what kind of attack it has, okay? Remember, these are gonna have like different skills. Anyway, I create my own here for this map. So I'm gonna select that one, okay? Also remember you have some balls, you have a lot of things here that you can like do, okay? So an example, you can do a lightning door. It's gonna be a cool attack. Alright? I'm gonna do that. Here is very important, once more, if you have a map in which players have to fight first, just select that one, okay? But if you have a map like mine, you just choose automatically attack, alright? And then, now, most of the times you will be able to add buffs here. So example, you can make the player freeze in other players and things like that. But we are not gonna add status here because we have a different system. Or if you want, you can do it, but I don't recommend it because we're gonna do it in a different way, okay? Now, you also can choose here. Most of the time this is gonna be different for your mob. Alright? As an example, you can choose jump off the head of the target. This one is boogie, so don't do it. Jumping attack means that the mob is gonna try to jump to the player when it's close. It's cool for like adding more action to your game. Avoid attack chance is like they have like some chances to like be able to evade your attack, so it's cool also for some kind of mobs. But don't abuse for this because probably the player is gonna be killed very easily. Immune to fire is also cool for doing like fireproof mobs. And yeah, this is when you want to have a move that is not gonna be able to walk on the day. And find hiding places is like the move can look for you even if you are in a wall, okay? Alright, so once you set up this, you will have this, okay? So, best reward, if you are doing an NPC, you keep this. If you are not doing an NPC, delete this because this is gonna like lag a lot. If you have 20 enemies, it's gonna give you too much lag, okay? Also, remember you have some features here. You can make a mob as an example, push another mob. I always do that because, as an example, if there are two different mobs, one in front of other of the same kind, as an example, I select this same mob, it's gonna like push him very quick to you, so it's gonna be a cool one. Also, you have this feature that allows you to make some mobs that are gonna be able to hide when they are almost be able to, when they are close to death, they are going to try to run away. And you can like try the different things. Remember on the previous minicamp, like 2 minicamps ago, we learned how to set up all of this. And interaction, you're not gonna open for enemies because this is gonna be for NPC. Alright, so I save it. And now I got it right here. So I'm gonna add it into my map. Alright, and high price is right here. Remember, you always, after adding it, you're gonna just change anything or change any part of the code and just click on save, okay? This is gonna be very important. Alright. Okay. And you need to click on enter the game again to be able to see your mobs. Alright. Alright, Rose, very important. Tomas is telling me you don't have a Discord. So for give you the code where we can contact you. All right, he's telling me, never mind, he already gave him the information, it's okay. All right, so now we already have like this specific mob created. We're gonna implement it, okay? So you are seeing in addition like all the different levels. As you see, we have like different monsters. Depending on in which level we are, we're gonna start implementing more monsters, more powerful ones. All right. Let me do this because I need to cross here a second. All right. And we're gonna start implementing those mobs, okay? All right. As you see here as an example, you can see that there are more mobs, more powerful mobs every time. Like they are getting powerful and powerful over and over. First time I place this one, and so on until you get to the final boss, okay? As you see here, we have every time more and more and more powerful mobs. And this is the final boss of the first level, where you can have this beautiful thing being called Krabby. I don't remember what name I put it on. It is the one that says Toxic Goblin. So this is gonna be the first boss you're gonna beat. Remember, you can do different like poses. All right, but we're gonna start implement our monsters after this level. So if I cross here, we have a full new level to create, okay? All right, so we have like, if you see, I haven't created this part yet because I'm gonna do it where you are with me during the class. You have like more levels and so on and so on, okay? All right, so what is the way you can spawn your enemies? All right, this is gonna be very important, guys. There are like different ways that you can spawn your enemies, but this is gonna be very important, guys. And for this, once more, I'm gonna pause the music and I'm gonna place you like a big test, okay? I just put that song to make you aware of this, okay? We have like different ways to spawn your mobs, okay? But we have some specific conditions to make it work. Otherwise, probably your mob is gonna have some problems and it's not gonna work fine, okay? All right, so first condition, if you are creating a mob by triggers, if you are more than 32 blocks away from the position you are trying to spawn them up with, it's not gonna work, okay? Like if you are, once more, 32 blocks away from where you want to spawn the creature, it's not gonna work. Let me do an example about how you can generate mobs, okay? So there are a few ways that you can generate some mobs. The easiest one is you're gonna click here, okay? And there you're gonna have different options. Of course, you are not gonna have this one. This is a tool that we only, as teachers, we can add. But you're gonna click on this one, the third one, okay? And that will allow you to place a creature, okay? But you need to select first which creature you are gonna place. So you're gonna click on new, and on here you can select any of the creatures you already have. So remember, we're gonna work with High Priest. Well, let's place High Priest right here, okay? So that's the way you place the creature. It's really easy. You of course not seeing right now the creature because we are in playable in edit mode, but if I switch, come on, switch. If I switch to playable mode, you see the creature is gonna be on there. Alright, as you see, it's easy to get killed by him because right now in the game I'm level 1 and it probably is too powerful. Alright, so that's the first way you add a creature. Remember, core deleting, you only need to click here on tool mode. I don't know what is happening, yeah. And go to creature right here and scroll down. As you see, I have a lot of creatures, so that's why I don't recommend to use this way. And all the way down, you're gonna find your mob, okay? Alright, so you just click on delete and yes. Alright, first way to add a creature on game, on your enemy. Second way, you're gonna go here, and on there you will have the mob. Okay, as you see, I have a mob, and you can add it like this. Alright, as an example, you see the mob is gonna be here. Okay, now let's go for the third way that you can add a mob right here. Okay, so the third way you can do it is you're gonna look for this specific item. It's gonna be here in circuit, and it's gonna be this one, mob generator block. Okay, and remember, this is gonna work with circuits. What you have to do is to hide this specific one. Come on, anywhere, I don't know why you are taking so long to click. Alright, you place it on the floor, and of course you're gonna hide it. Okay, you can do whatever. As an example, I don't know, you can like create here a wall, so it needs to be hidden. This is the important part. Okay, well, of course you already know how to hide this. I'm just doing an example, but imagine that this is gonna be all the way from the floor to the top. Okay, and what you're gonna do here, what you're gonna do is you're gonna click on the block, and it's gonna have like different features, right? The first one is gonna be which creature we're gonna use. Florian Bravo, do you mean the one we are editing or the one we played before? Alright, so in here you can select like the different creatures. Your customs are gonna be here. For example, of course I'm not gonna, let me change the song because it's too fast. Of course I'm not gonna select this one, I'm gonna select a simple one to show you. I'm gonna select Scout. On here we have like different options, right? The first one is the number of mobs that can be in 32 blocks. Okay, so this is gonna be very important, guys. Once more, 32 blocks is the blocks like the distance you can have. Okay, so here is how many mobs at max you can have in this area. I always recommend like to set up not too much of them and be sure that the players cannot leave the area or the mobs. They're actually the mobs. Otherwise, you're gonna have a lot of mobs around all this scenario. Okay. So as an example, I'm gonna keep at max 5 of these mobs in this area. Okay. If you see, we have an option here that says if sorry, I tell you the wrong information. So this is how many mobs you are going to generate every time, every like second or whatever you set up. Always keep it on 1, it's easier. Or 2, or depending on your level, but I will always recommend to keep it in 1. Always activate max number, and max number is going to be how many of these can be at max in this specific area. Remember, 32 blocks away from this. I always recommend it. You have the information, you see. Okay, so I always recommend it to keep it at max, like don't do like too much amount because it's gonna be hard sometimes, okay? So you're gonna keep only 5 of them. Now here we're gonna tell the game how far away from this we're gonna create the mobs, okay? So as an example, we can create up to 30 blocks once more. Always try to keep it like in the middle way, not at max, not at minimum, 15 blocks at max, so any block around these 15 blocks is gonna be generated. This is gonna be very important at which altitude is gonna generate the mobs, okay? I'm gonna click save, and if I like stay here, it says I'm in the block 49, okay? So here you can tell the game in which altitude you're gonna spawn this mob, okay? So 49 is gonna be okay, one block above this block. And also you can generate an interval, so they're gonna be refilled every 5 seconds, every 4 seconds. Is this map name is gonna be Ancient Deep RPD. Alright, so as an example, every 10 seconds you're gonna respawn if we have less than 5 mobs around here, okay? And you're gonna save it. Of course, right now it's not working, alright? But if you place energy next to him, it is gonna start working. You're gonna realize that it's like running out because this is gonna be other color. And in 10 seconds we're supposed to start seeing some monsters here. As you see, it elaborates the first one, as you see. Okay, in 10 seconds it's gonna create a new one. Alright, the second one, okay? So every time you remove the energy, it's gonna stop working. So you can also do some circuits. As an example, if the player enters in a specific area, it's gonna generate like these mobs. Alright? And yeah, as you see, the important thing is that your mob cannot live here. So one trick you can do is you can place like invisible blocks, like the one I have here, in the areas where you have the doors and things like that, so mobs are not gonna try to get away from there. So like this, as an example. Yeah, so your mobs are not gonna exit from here, okay? Now, I'm gonna do it really fast because we are lacking of time. So if you see, the mob right now crosses. So this is what you have to avoid, because if the mob moves away from this area, this system is not gonna work fine, okay? This is what you got to avoid. So you can place also some like areas where the player needs to teleport to be able to access with. It's okay, okay? Now, once more, the map name Ancient Deep RPD. Alright, so this is like very important, guys. Alright, so as an example, once more, try to fill all of these to avoid monsters to exit, okay? Now, once more, guys, very important, this is when you're working with this, it's gonna work fine because, well, you're spawning the mobs like manually. But as an example, I'm gonna create here an area, and this is gonna be really quick. Okay? So we're gonna add a new area, and as an example, you want to create the mobs right here, right? And most of the times you do a script that is gonna be, I don't know, let's create an example one, okay? Players use an emoticon, alright? We're gonna create a creature. Okay, we're gonna create a specific one just to show you, okay? We're gonna create this one, the alien one, and it's gonna be at the center. Okay, it's taking a lot of time. we're gonna select central location of area, and we're gonna choose an area here. That is gonna be the last one we created, okay? All right, so this is gonna be very important. I'm gonna kill this. 1, 2, come on, don't move. 3, okay. I destroyed a part of this scenario. I hate when that happens. 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right. So, moving to play mode. It's gonna take a while to start. All right. So if I jump, if I use an emoticon here, it's gonna create a mob, right? Okay. So it works, right? Because we are in 32 blocks of distance of this area. But what happens if I move far away from this area? Oh, I don't have to move that area, that size, because there is the powerful monster, and he's gonna kill me and I won't be able to continue. But let's move this area, okay? I'm moving like too far away from there, just to be able to show you how it works. Okay, so right now I think I'm more than 32 blocks away from there, and let me show you. Now I'm gonna do an emoticon here, and as we create a trigger that says if you are close to the area, or well, if you do an emoticon, it's gonna supposed to create them up. Let me show you what is gonna happen. As we are not in the area, we only have the mob we created before. We don't have any new one, you see? Just the one that we created before, because we are too far away. So every time you want to spawn a mob with triggers or scripts, this is gonna work. The area where you execute or where you create the mob needs to be very close to the player at max 30 or 32 blocks, okay? See that if I click right now this, you can, like every time I do it, there are gonna be more and more and more and more mobs, okay? And I want to show you this is gonna be very important. If you realize we have like the same mob, but we have some different ones, okay? We have the normal one, we have the singular, and we have the sharp one, okay? And that is the system we're gonna learn next. We're gonna learn how to create those mobs, okay? So every mob you create can spawn in different amounts. It can be singular, it can be alpha, it can be epic or legendary mob. If you see, they have different lives. The normal one have 150, and the singular is gonna be more powerful. It has 450. And as an example, you see there is one that is sharp and the one that is dark. The dark is gonna give you dark buffs, and the sharp is gonna give you bleed when it hits you, okay? So we also gonna learn how to do that, okay? So we're gonna switch to that, and I'm gonna show you how to create this specific set of moves, okay? So I'm gonna leave here, and I'm gonna show you here, okay? So we're gonna do a different thing here. Remember this example, we're gonna take out the experience and we're gonna create a mob, okay? So every time I access the area, we're gonna create a creature, okay? And we're gonna create like a penguin to show you the example, okay? And we... Oh, what's happened? It doesn't allow me to choose penguin. Oh yeah, confirm. And the event position is gonna be central location of area. We have to choose the area, choose this one, and that's it, okay? All right. So every time I click on it or I pass this, it's gonna create a penguin, alright? But check that all the penguins are gonna be the same penguin, right? Alright, so what we gonna do right now is that we gonna have different mobs, okay? We have like some scripts we're gonna import. In the first script, Tomas, please share with us the script link. Tomas is gonna share with you. It is gonna be called super mobs. It is the base one, okay? So what is gonna do super mobs? Okay, and what I'm gonna do is show you right here how you're gonna import this in your game. Don't worry, it's a script that is gonna work by itself, but you can set up some options here, okay? So you're gonna click on the link that Thomas is gonna share with you, and it's gonna open up something like this, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna look for this one, this icon that says copy route content, and you're gonna copy. Always, before do this, be sure that your web browser is not translating this, okay? So be sure it's always in English, not in your language, because otherwise it's not gonna work. So you're gonna copy, okay? And once you copy, you're gonna move to your map, okay? In your map, you're gonna go to edit mode. Now you're gonna go and click here, and you're gonna move to scripts, and you're gonna create a new script, okay? Sorry, you're gonna click on here, and you're gonna add a new script. It's gonna show you something like this. You're gonna rename it as super mobs, and you're gonna go here, delete everything, or you just can click here, and you're gonna paste what you just copied, okay? For example, here I didn't copy the right. So what you have to do is click on here, and it's gonna copy all of them, okay? More you're gonna delete it, and you're gonna paste all the things you copied, alright? If you have an error, that can happen. As an example, I'm gonna delete this just to show you. It's not gonna let you copy. So if you have something like this, just remember you have to delete this and copy again. Go to the website, okay, and you have to copy. And probably in cell phone, you're not gonna see this like this. You're gonna see a different UI. So what you have to do if you are not seeing this button is just click on the beginning where it has the two lines. Be sure that you are copying everything from the beginning, and scroll down all the way to the bottom. You see there are some numbers here next to the lines and copy. Well, be sure you scroll down all the way down until the 316, and that you copy up to the last word, okay? And you're gonna paste it, and that's it. You're gonna save. If it saves, it's okay, okay? So once you be sure that it's saving, means that you're copied right, you're gonna scroll up all the way to the top, and you see that you have some options here, okay? Don't worry, this is not mandatory. Just by copy and pasting, you already have your mob system added, okay? But you have some options here, right? You just ignore this, and you go to the part that says setup, okay? And under setup, you're gonna see some options, okay? Probably if you're in cell phone, this is not gonna be colored, but on here you have the name of the different mobs that can spawn. You have singular, alpha, elite, or legendary. I don't know if you can want to change the name. As an example, the first one, the powerful one, is gonna be called, I don't know, X. The other one is gonna be double X. The other one is gonna be powerful, and this one is powerful. That's on you. What you can change here is the amount of chances that a mob like this can spawn. In this case, it's gonna be 10%. Okay, on here it's gonna have 5%. You need to see that it's divided, so you only need to read. Remember to change only the value after the equal symbol and before the two lines, okay? And finally, the option that we have is how many power is gonna have extra, okay? So, as an example, the singular mobs are gonna have 10% chances to spawn, and they have 30, the normal power mob multiplied by 3. Also, we have alpha that are gonna be better than singular, and they have the same power multiplied by 5, but only 5% of chances to spawn. We have elite that are gonna have 10 times more power, but only have 1.2 chances to spawn. And finally, we have legendary that almost never spawn. They have 2% chances to spawn and they have 20% power. Okay, so let me show you really quick here. Remember our penguins? Well, that's a normal one. That's another normal one. And so on, we're gonna have a lot of them normal, but from time to time, we're gonna have the singular one. As you see, the singular one is more powerful. It has 150, while the others are gonna have only 50. Alright? So you're gonna have like variations. If you see it's a little bit bigger than the other, with a little bit, and if we keep spawning mobs here, okay, if we keep spawning mobs and mobs and mobs and mobs over, you're gonna have probably an alpha one. If you see it's a little bit bigger than the other and have 250 of life, okay, it's more powerful, it's like 5 times more powerful than the others, and also has another damage, okay. And if you keep, probably I will have to do it 100 times, but I will have a extra one that is gonna be called lead or something, okay. But of course I have to like do it a lot of times to be able to spawn one of them, so I'm not gonna do it right now, okay, because it's gonna take a lot of times. Remember, only like 1% of the times you're gonna get an elite one, so it's something strange, okay. For the next class, we're gonna learn also how to, of course they are gonna give you more experience, but we are also gonna learn how to make them like drop specific things. That means that if you kill a singular penguin, probably it's gonna have better items. It's gonna drop better items than the normal one, so the players are gonna be encouraged to kill them. Okay, let me see. Okay, yeah, singular again, but once more, not a elite or a legendary one, because once more we are like having like very low chances to spawn one of them, okay. Before leaving, I want to show you something new, and it's that sometimes can happen that you don't want a specific mob to be able to transform. As an example, your NPCs or your boss, you don't want your boss to become 20 times stronger because the player won't be able to kill him, alright? So you can just scroll down in the same line and you're gonna see this, that is list of ignored mobs, okay? So here you can add all the IDs of the mobs that are gonna be ignored by the system. How do you do that? Simply copy and paste this line or replace. Every time you add a new line, you need to change the number here. So if the first one was 1, the second one is gonna be 2, and the third one is gonna be, of course, 3 on here. Okay, so on. So you have, I don't know, if you have 10 of them, you're gonna change the number here, and you're gonna place the ID of the mob you want to be ignored. Okay, if you are in computer, if you are in PC, just click here, go to create here, and in create here, select the mob that you want to just be ignored by the system, alright? So right now, our penguin is not gonna be taken by the system, okay? If you are in cell phone, simply spawn your mob. As an example, I'm gonna spawn a penguin on the floor, or whatever, and you place this item in your hand, and with this item, you're gonna click on the mob, and you're gonna say that says model ID number 2, right? That means that that is the ID of that specific mob, okay? So you're gonna place that number here in the script, alright? In the line you just place it. So remember, it was number 2, right? You scroll down all the way to the setup section, you copy and paste the line, alright? You change it by name or by the number 2 in the ID of the mob here, okay? And you save it, alright? And once you save it, that mob is not gonna ever be taken by the system. So that means an example. I'm gonna put the chicken here, that is the one that we don't pass by. And as you see, now the penguins are not gonna spawn on powerful versions. As you see, they are gonna be just normal. The one we pass by also is gonna be normal because, well, we say the system like, I don't want this mob to transform. But the chicken has some chances here to become stronger, okay? I think it's not gonna work with MobX, but you get my point, right? So every time a monster is gonna access here, it's gonna transform unless you have that activated, okay? So guys, for now the class is already over.